guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, and you know what that means. We get to do another ranking video on my channel, and today we're gonna be ranking my entire powder highlight collection. I decided not to include my cream and liquids in my powder highlight ranking, or obviously I wouldn't include them in my powder highlight ranking. I decided not to include them in my highlighter ranking and do just my powders because I did do a separate video where I ranked and swatched all of my cream and liquid products, and I did it by category, so I'll leave that video linked down below, as well as my playlist for my ranking my makeup collection series. I started ranking my makeup collection in 2019, so this is the third year I'm doing it, and after today we'll be through most of my makeup collection. So if you guys have anything you want me to rank, anything at all, please let me know, because I want to keep ranking things every Friday for you guys. Other than that, if you're interested in seeing how I would rank all, I think I have 30, exactly, all 30 highlights in my collection, stay tuned first if you get to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content, if you like to rank things, or if you just like to chit chat about makeup. I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. I do post 4 videos a week. Would love to have you subscribe. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, you guys, I don't know if I'll keep track of the number as always. So if I don't, I'll post the number right here that we're on. Coming in last, I have my Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Highlight in Sand Castle and Mint Mojito. This is the last of that like summer collection I still have. And Sand Castle is a little bit too dark for me, and Mint Mojito is just not something I would use as a highlight. I really keep this around to kind of use as eyeshadow, which I never do anyway. So honestly, I don't know why I keep this around, but for some reason I just can't get myself to declutter it. So that being said, this is my number 30. Coming in at number 29, I have this one from Jouer. I picked this up on a whim during the Sephora VIB sale because I love pink highlights. And I don't think I like the Jouer formula that much. And it's hard because I kind of want to declutter this. Actually, maybe I should, because it's super icy. You know what? I just love pink highlights so much, but this is super icy, and I have other pink highlights I prefer. I find the Jouer highlight formula to be a little bit dry for my liking, and I just have so many other formulas I prefer. So that's why this one is coming in at number 29. Coming in at number 28, I have this one from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is in the shade Awestruck. And I will say I do like the formula. I think it's really nice and smooth because it is a baked formula. It really just comes down to shade. I wanted to get a pink highlight, and I wanted to get this one because it was like more of a warm pink. But it's a little bit too dark for me mostly, so I really use this as a blush topper. I was considering decluttering this one as well, but I think I need to put this either in a project with a use goal or put it in a Shop My Stash and try and reach for it more frequently. I filmed quite a few videos today. If you can't tell, I keep fumbling my words. But when I use this like back to back to back, I really enjoy this product, but I don't reach for it all that often, so I didn't feel comfortable ranking this any higher. And then coming in at number 27, I believe, I have this one from Milk. This is in the shade Blitzed. Do not get me wrong, I love the Milk Pressed Highlighter formula. Blitzed is a really beautiful pink. I hope that I have time to include swatch clips for you guys. We'll see though. This is just glittery. Like, this has glitter in it. There's gonna be glitter on your face, so I don't always love using this one on my face unless I'm filming, then I really don't care. But in my day-to-day life, this is not something I reach for very frequently, so I really could not rank this one any higher. Coming in at number 26, kind of same thing with this one. This is from Kaleidos. It's the Ray Rider highlight. This one just has some glitter in it as well, so I don't love reaching for this one on a day-to-day basis. I do think it's a beautiful highlight, and I do reach for this quite a bit actually when I'm filming. But aside from that, like sometimes I'll reach for it as like a body highlight on my shoulders too, and I think it's beautiful for that. Even though it's bulky packaging, I like how fun the packaging is for Kaleidos, so I really don't mind it. It's just not like a favorite staple every day for me, so that's why I'm ranking this one at number 26. Number 25 is going to go to my Becca Prismatic Amethyst. It really comes down to shade on this one, but I have so many fond memories tied to when I purchased this, and I really enjoy mixing this with my Vesca Moonlight highlight because the two kind of neutralize each other. So when I do feel like reaching for this, and it gives a really brightened effect on the cheekbone, I do like to mix this, and I found other highlights I like mixing this with, but on its own, I could not rank this one higher than number 25. Number 24 is another one from Jouer. This is the Skinny Dip highlight. I just have the medium. I just have the mini. And I don't love this one on my cheeks. It's a little bit deep for me, but I love using this as a body highlight. This is like my go-to if my shoulders are exposed. I feel like I'm always reaching for this. Would love to be able to finish this whole pan of highlight off using it that way. Maybe next year. I was hoping to hit pan this year, so hopefully I'll hit pan on this one and then I can finish this next year. Not something I would repurchase. I got this in some sort of set, but I'm really glad that I found a way that I like to use it, because again, I don't really love this one on my cheeks. The formula is just a little bit dry, etc. And then coming in at number 23, I think we're on, I have the the Dose of Colors I Love Sarah E collab, and this one is in the shade Soulmate. So this is the more like champagne / gold shade. This is a super intense, super blinding highlight, which is definitely not my preference anymore, which is why this one is ranking lower. I still think this has a really creamy, really smooth texture, and it is beautiful when I want a super intense highlight, but it's just not my preference right now, so that's why I'm ranking this one lower. And then right above that at number 22, I have the other one from that collection. This is in the shade Bathe. I think I've had too much coffee because I'm also shaking. This is in the shade Bathe. Really beautiful pink highlight. Obviously had to rank this one above Soulmate because I love me a good pink highlight. Coming in at number, are we on 21? I have this one from Buxom in the shade White Russian. This is the Wanderlust highlight. This is a dry texture. It's like dry and powdery, but I do love the shade. It's kind of like an icy pink with like a hint of warmth. I don't know why I'm showing my hand, because I'm hoping to include swatch clips. I will say I do already feel like I have a little bit of hard pan on this product. It's just not my favorite formula. I was a little bit let down because I love the Buxom Wanderlust blushes so much, so I was really anticipating this was going to be like great, which it just wasn't. So that's why I'm ranking this at 21. Coming in at 20, I have this one from Pixi. If I was ranking this in a previous year, this may have ranked higher, but because I don't love a super blinding highlight anymore, that's why I'm ranking this one at 20. This is a beautiful formula if you like a blinding highlight. It is so freaking smooth, and it is really, really intense. I actually really enjoy these two mixed rather than just using like the pink one, obviously is one that I would usually go to. Mixed, I think it creates this really beautiful mix of pink and champagne. So on the occasional day that I want a super intense highlight, this is what I usually do reach for. And then coming in at 19, I have this one from NARS. This also used to be more of a favorite. This is in Fort de France. This has another really smooth, creamy texture. And I will say this is more subtle on the cheeks. I just haven't been reaching for this shade, and I think it's because it has a little bit more yellow in it than I typically prefer in a highlight. But I still think the formula on this is really nice. It just really comes down to shade, and knowing that I haven't really reached for this one that much this year, so I shouldn't rank it any higher if I really haven't reached for it. Coming in at number 18, I have this one from Fenty Beauty. This used to be my favorite highlight in my entire collection. It's the Kilowatt Highlight in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. I still think this is a beautiful highlight. It's just icier than my personal preferences these days, which is why I am ranking it at 18. Coming in at number 17, I have this one from Nabla. This is in the shade Ozone. It's one of these skin glazings. I think this is a really beautiful formula. I have a shade ranking higher than this. I've been singing the praises of this formula all year long. This is just an icier shade, so I definitely get more use out of it in the winter when I am more fair, so that is why I am ranking this one a little bit lower. Beautiful baked formula that is just so smooth and seamless on the skin. It does not look like powder at all. It just really melts into the skin, and I love the formula. Coming in at number 16, I have the Artist Couture Summer Haze Powder Highlight. Honestly, love this highlight. I just don't reach for it that frequently because it is a powder highlight, and that's not my favorite form of highlight just because it is messier, but it is so beautiful, and you can build this up to be really intense. Use a wet brush and make it really intense, or you can really sheer this out and diffuse this out with a fluffy brush to be just this beautiful, like, rich summer glow. It's so beautiful. 15 has to go to my Persona highlight in Zuma. This one is, again, very intense, which is why it's ranking a little bit lower. This used to be more of a favorite, but it's just not my preference anymore. I still think it's a great formula and a beautiful shade. I'm just opting for something that's a little bit more subtle these days. Anytime I talk about like I'm opting for something a little bit more subtle, I'm like, okay, but like I'm super glowy today. Next up is the other Fenty Beauty Killawatt highlight that I own. This one is in the shade Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. Beautiful pink shades. I honestly use these more as blush toppers just because they're a little bit dark to actually just use as highlight on my skin, but I love a glowy blush lately, so I have been reaching for this quite a bit. Coming in at number 13 was another old favorite of mine. This is the Natasha Denona Glow Blush, and I have mine in the shade 1 Light. Obviously used to be a favorite. I just haven't reached for this one much this year, so I didn't feel comfortable ranking it any higher. This is another one that is really smooth on the skin. It's more subtle, so I actually should pull this into my next Shop My Stash. I kind of missed this one, but I haven't been reaching for it, so that's why I'm ranking this at number 13. And then coming in at number 12, I have this one from Melt Cosmetics. This is technically a blush, but I use it more as a highlight. I have the shade Raw Honey. Actually, I use this as a highlight, but I use this as a glowy blush. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but this was in my highlight drawer. That's why I'm ranking it here. This is beautiful. I didn't love this at first because I was trying to use it as a blush and I couldn't figure out how to make it work, but I freaking adore this as a highlight shade because it is more of like this warm pink, which I love. And I haven't reached for this in a little bit, but this is something I get a ton of use out of in the fall winter. So I literally cannot wait to pull that back out. And then coming in at number 11, I have this one from Makeup Forever. This is like an OG. This is the Pro Light Fusion highlighter, and I believe this is in the shade 1, which is this really beautiful pink highlight. Super smooth formula, looks beautiful. If you like pink highlight, I think this is a really good one. I've honestly had this so long, I don't even know if you can get this anymore, but I love it. Now we're into the top 10. Coming in at 10, I have the OG Mary Luminizer. I freaking love this blush, but because this is more of like a champagne, that's why I'm ranking it number 10, because I just love pink highlights so much, and there's a couple other highlights that aren't pink that I like just a little bit more than this, but this is just such a good staple highlight, something that I would always want to have in my collection. I do obviously have a pan in mind, so obviously I do like this highlight quite a bit. Coming in at number 9 is the other Milk highlight that I own. This one is in the shade Lit, and this is stunning. I cannot describe the texture of this blush or highlight. It's one of the smoothest highlights I have ever felt in my life. This can get very intense on the cheeks, but because of the formula, you really can diffuse this one out to be just this really beautiful glowy cheek. And it's just so smooth that it really does not look like powder or makeup on your face, and I just adore it. Then coming in at number 8, I have this one from Dior. This is the Skin Luminizer, Nude Luminizer, in the shade 1, which is a really beautiful kind of nude champagne sort of shade. Love the formula on this as well. Again, very smooth. It just feels very luxurious to use, and this has been a favorite for quite a while. And then right above that at number 7, I have the pink version of that, and this one I've had for a while. I think they've repackaged because this one's significantly thicker than the other one, and this is the Dior Nude Air Luminizer, and I have mine in the shade 2, which is such a pretty pink highlight. This is what really got me into pink highlights, and I remember purchasing this highlight because it was like the most I had ever spent on a highlight, so I have some like nostalgic memories attached to this as well, and I've just loved this highlight for so long. Coming in at number 6 is a new highlight to my collection. This is from Mario, or the Makeup by Mario line. It is the Soft Glow highlighter, and I have mine in the shade Pearl. This is right up my alley for what I have been preferring for highlights lately, in that it is just very soft. It's a soft luminosity. It's nothing super intense. And again, it just has this really soft, almost like air-like texture to it. I will say that this one is a little bit icy until I blend it out, and then it just looks like just this beautiful, like wet, summery sort of glow, and I just have been so into this lately. So love that one from Makeup by Mario. All right, so that brings us to our top 5. 2 of my top 5 are new, and then 3 of them have been in my collection for a while. Coming in at number 5, this is new to my collection at the tail end of 2020 / very beginning of 2021. This is the Vesca Moonlight Highlighter. I love this highlight. This is something that mixes really well with other highlighters for me. And it has this really beautiful yellow champagne sort of shade, which normally I would not be into. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the formula and the way that it just blends onto my skin. I love this because it is smooth and just makes, it does not create texture on the skin at all. You can really diffuse this one to be really light and soft, or you can build this up to be really intense, and I think it's so beautiful. It reminds me quite a bit of the Mary Luminizer actually from the Balm. Coming in at number 4 is my tried and true ABH Amrezy highlight. I mean, I've had this for a while, raved about this for a while. I'm sure you've heard of this highlight. Beautiful baked formula, beautiful shade. Have not found a dupe in my collection for this, and honestly, I just love this one so much. This one is more intense. But I still love this one so much. And then coming in at number 3, I have my other Nabla Skin Glazing. This is in the shade Privilege, which is more of a peachy pink sort of highlight. So obviously that is why I rank this one a little bit higher. Again, beautiful baked formula, very smooth on the skin. This can be intense, or you can diffuse this one out. I think it looks so beautiful as a subtle highlight on the cheeks, and I'm just a huge fan of this one. And then 1 and 2 have been 1 and 2 in my collection for so long. But coming in at number 2, I have Becca Rose Quartz. I don't know what I'm going to do when I finish this, and then I still have a rose quartz in one of my face palettes, but like when that's gone, what am I going to do? This is one of my favorite pink highlighters of literal all time, and I just love it so freaking much. And then coming in at number 1, I have my Bobbi Brown Pink Glow Highlighter. Motorcycles, man, I tell ya. My Pink Glow Highlight. I thought this was a limited edition, like holiday exclusive a couple years ago, and was so happy to find out that you can get this in a full size. So now I'm comfortable finishing this up because 100% will purchase this in the full size. This has been a favorite pink highlight in my collection for over a year. So I can't sing this one's praises enough either. I feel like I've talked about this a lot on my channel. So that is my number 1 highlight in my collection, but that is gonna wrap it up for today's ranking video. I would love to know in the comments below, what are your favorite powder highlights in your collection or liquid? Let a girl know. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.